Have you ever set out to accomplish something or reach a destination, but you've bumped into an obstacle along the way that you've struggled with? My guess is the answer is yes. We all have. If you haven't, I want to know what your secret sauce is, because it's very rare in life that we have a perfect straight and narrow path without any obstacles on the way. So today I'm going to talk about how to handle those obstacles when they show up and what you can do to help you work through them. So first, let's do a little story time here. Let's imagine that you have decided that it is time to lay on the beach somewhere warm. So we are at the Minneapolis airport, and we're going to get an airplane and we're going to move to find our way to a beach somewhere in Florida. Now, we get into the airplane, you're sitting down, we have a nice smooth takeoff. We're about 40 minutes, maybe the guy next to you is snoring, you're listening to some great music. About 40 minutes in, the light comes on and you hear the pilot get on the plane and he says, all right, things aren't looking good right now, buckle up. And you're like, what's gonna happen, right? So in just a few minutes, all of a sudden, you're on what you think is a straight path to get to Florida, but you bump into something. What do you bump into? What happens? It's turbulence, right? So now all of a sudden, we've hit some turbulence. What does the pilot do? Does the pilot say, all right, guys, I know we were en route to Florida, but we hit turbulence, we're turning around. This is just not meant to be. It's not meant to be that you get to that beach, we're gonna turn the plane around, we hit some turbulence. No. Does the pilot say, all right, guys, we hit some turbulence, buckle up? He could say, buckle up. We're gonna go through this, but we'll get there and it's gonna be a little rough, right? Or a third option is that the pilot reroutes the plane. Oftentimes they move higher up above those air pockets and are able to get above the turbulence. So there are some options of how a pilot deals with it, but very rarely would a pilot land the plane or say it's not meant to be, we're turning around. This is just like when we have obstacles in our life, right? So we have a path that we're going on, and I'm going to use a prop today in addition to the whiteboard. We're on a path, right? I'm going to walk that way. And all of a sudden I bump into something. I hit an obstacle. And what's the first thing that I say? I go, well, I was headed to the gym, but my alarm didn't go off, so I guess it's not meant to be. Or, geez, I was really gonna grow my business this year, but the people just aren't working with me. I guess it's not meant to be. I guess I'm just not meant to be in real estate. We can bump into something and sometimes decide that this is going to be our excuse now, or this is going to be our scapegoat. This is because to be honest, to me, those obstacles sounds like a lack of planning, a lack of discipline, a lack of ownership, and blame on the thing. We're blaming the thing rather than taking responsibility. Here's another way that some people might handle this. So I'm walking and I'm on my way to my destination. I bump into something and I go, God, this always happens to me. I always hit this thing. It's always right here. Why? Why does this keep happening to me? And we pick up the obstacle and we wrap our little arms around it, or big arms, depending on your stature, and we identify with it. And then we walk around with this thing. See, this thing always happens to me. It just always happens to me. I don't know why. We might even pick it up and try to look at life through it. Now we're looking at life through this crazy lens that is not reality, right? Because we've so identified with it. Or maybe we pick it up and throw it over our shoulder and decide we're gonna walk around carrying the weight of this. Because we've so identified with it, it totally becomes baggage, which is heavy to carry around. So what could be a third option? We're walking on our way to a destination, we bump into an obstacle, what can we do? You know what, gosh, I'm gonna course correct. I'm gonna take a different path. I'm gonna go around this obstacle. Another option, what would it be? You know what, I'm gonna ask someone to help me move this, because maybe it's too heavy and I can't move it myself. Who could help me move the obstacle? Or maybe it's the kind of obstacle that with time will pass, so I'm gonna wait for a minute and not flip my lid and wait for this obstacle to be moved or naturally pass by. there are options, but just because you bump into something doesn't mean you're not meant to go where you're headed. And it doesn't mean you don't have what it takes. You have what it takes to get where you're going. Whether it's within you or it's a resource around you, you absolutely have what it takes to get where you're going and to solve the problems and find another way around it when they show up. So if there is something you're bumping into or consistently bumping into right now and you feel stuck, whether it's in your business or sometimes in your personal life, you have a limiting belief that is your obstacle that you keep bumping into. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help that, and I've got a team of people. So if there's something that you can help with, that I can help with, that you're bumping into, that you're just not quite sure how to work around it, but you know you want to, shoot me a DM, and I'm happy to set up a time and we can chat. In the meantime, happy Whiteboard Wednesday, and have a wonderful rest of the week.